the scariest video on the internet. This is Joseph D'Angelo Jr., who's also known as the original Night Stalker. He is an American serial killer who is also formerly a police officer who's been indicted on at least 13 murders, 120 robberies, and over 50 assaults on women. Listen how crazy this is. He would break into a house, tie the couple up, and he would take the male victim, put plates on top of the male victim, and would tell him that if any plate dropped that he would kill both of them. So now the male victim is laying down on his stomach, and obviously he's scared and shaking, so eventually one of the plates are gonna fall anyway. Even creepier than that, if he found a woman that he wanted to assault, he would call the home phone before and after the incident took place. And the video you are going to hear is exactly that. This is from one of the victim's answering machines in the 1980s. After listening to this, I can honestly say,
family tries desperately to get rid of this haunted Elsa doll.
In 2013, a woman named Emily gifted her child an Elsa doll. Now, this doll had the ability to speak when a button was pushed. After owning the doll for years, the doll would suddenly start speaking. And I mean, when the button wasn't even being pushed. To make things even creepier, the doll actually started speaking Spanish, and there was no settings on the doll to change its language. Now, Emily was sick of the doll, and so she decided to just throw it in the trash. 1 week after throwing it in the trash, Emily found the doll sitting on the bench. Now, she immediately questioned her daughter, but her daughter promised she did not take it out of the trash. So Emily wrapped up that doll again, and this time made sure it was in the garbage. And the doll again made its way back to Emily's house. Understandably, she was completely freaked out. In the end, the doll was mailed to a family friend who assured Emily that he would get rid of it, and luckily for the family, there's been no Elsa doll sightings. For more 7 Sin crime stories, remember to hit the plus button.
Haven't seen this photo on the internet as of late? This is just moments before 12-year-old Emma Brown took her gun and used it on her father and then herself. Last September, Emma and another 12-year-old friend devised a plan to murder Emma's family and her pets and then run away to Georgia together. Shortly after this photo, she then proceeds to shoot her father in the stomach and then run toward her driveway to take her family car to meet with her friend about 230 miles away. It's believed in this moment that Emma might have panicked and then shot herself in the process. The thing that's raised a concern is, as of right now, Emma's friend, who hasn't been publicly identified, is believed to have planned the entire ordeal. One of the biggest discussions as of late is that Emma's family had no idea how her and her friend had actually met, but she has been arrested and charged with a conspiracy to commit murder. The father did end up surviving the incident, but now conversations are being struck throughout the entire internet about whether or not parents know who their children's friends are. The police have also raised concerns and reports blaming social media for this occurrence. So the question now is, was this a preventable incident?
How did this woman go from looking like this to looking like this?
This is the very heartbreaking case of Charla Nash. One day in 2009, Charla received a call from a friend. Her friend's pet chimpanzee named Travis had sadly escaped from the house and was running loose in the neighborhood. Now, Charla had known this chimp for years, and being as kind as she was, she offered to help lure the chimp back inside. Charla arrived at her friend's house, not suspecting the danger that awaited her. As she approached Travis, the chimp suddenly turned on her, and with a ferocity that is beyond belief, the 200-pound animal mauled her face and hands, causing devastating injuries. In a complete panic, Charla's friend made this call.
911, where's your emergency?
This is Sandy. What's the problem?
What's the
Send
problem?
the police! Send the police!
What's the problem there?
The chimp killed my friend!
When police arrived on scene, the chimp was shot, and Charla was rushed to hospital where she underwent multiple surgeries, including a face transplant. Despite medical intervention, Charla did end up losing her hands, her eyes, and her nose in the attack. She was also left completely blind and disfigured. Now, this incident completely shook the community. It received widespread media coverage, ultimately raising awareness about the dangers of owning exotic pets. For more 7 Sin crime stories, remember to follow.
World's Most Dangerous Conspiracy Theories, Season 2. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say that once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking a couple from each category until we reach Tier 10, the point of no return. Alright, Season 2, welcome to Tier 1. Today, we're going to be talking about Ouija boards. A Ouija board is a board printed with numbers, letters, and symbols in hopes of communicating with the dead. The history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as the game itself. A woman named Helen Peters claimed to be a very strong psychic and actually invented the board herself. well. Eventually, Helen Peters' brother-in-law named Elijah wanted to get these things patented so that he could sell these everywhere. Helen Peters and Elijah traveled everywhere trying to get this patent, but the offices said they couldn't release a patent unless they had proof of it working. But consequently, nobody in these offices wanted to even get close to the board for unknown reasons. Until one day they traveled to Washington, D.C., and the chief of patent walked in the room and said, "You don't know me and I don't know you." Then he said, "If this board can tell me my name, I will sign the patent for you right now." The board apparently spelled the man's name. He walked out of the office, looked at Helen Peters and said, "You got your patent." Years later, Helen Peters and Elijah had a falling out, and Helen said she no longer wanted anything to do with this board. Elijah, on the other hand, continued selling these boards until one day he fell off of a 3-story building. He actually survived the fall, and some bystanders saw his body laying in the road. They picked him up, put him in the car, and they hit a bump in the road and his broken rib pierced through his heart. After that, the family sold the rights to the board, and all the way up until Helen Peters' death, her last words is, "Do not play the Ouija board, it lies." And now you can buy a Ouija board from any store and they're marketed to children. So the question remains, are these boards just a hoax, or was Helen Peters trying to warn us of something much darker? Make sure to like and follow for tier 2.
This is Japan's youngest murderer. At only 11 years old, Nevada murdered her best friend.
I honestly think this is one of the most interesting and messed up cases ever. And if you haven't heard about this case, click in that video and she'll give you the gist of what happened. When I first heard about this case, I saw every video, read every article about it. Anything I could find, I saw it or read it. And after so much research about it, I found some things that not a lot of people know about this case. For example, the first thing is this is not Nevada. This is somebody wearing a costume of Nevada. Yes, a costume, like in Halloween, dressing up as an 11-year-old murderer. This is an actual picture of her, one of few pictures that we have of actual Nevada. There's a lot of more pictures of people dressing up as her, but I don't want to show them because some are really gruesome and I just don't think there's anything cute or funny about dressing up as a murderer. So yeah, some even try to make it sexy. It's just I don't know, I just think it's weird. Another thing is that, I mean, this is not the real girl, but for the sake of the video, the actual Nevada, that's not her real name. Nevada is not her name. It's just what people started calling her because she had that sweater on when she did the murder. Nevada Tan. Due to Nevada being still young at the time of the murder, her name was not sent to public to keep her safe in her identity. They never know her name because now she's out of jail and she has changed her name, probably changed states. She could be in the US, we don't know. But yeah, we're probably never gonna know her name.
The kids in this video look like a happy family filming a TikTok. One of the girls is adopted, and what she does to her siblings will make you feel sick. This case has been compared to the movie Orphan. So on the 10th of December 2021, his father from the Philippines, his name is Cruz, he gets the type of phone call no parent ever wants to receive. At exactly 3 p.m, police inform him that 3 intruders have entered his house and taken the lives of his 2 biological children. 18-year-old Gwen, this girl, and 16-year-old Lewis. The pair had been brutally attacked by a baseball bat and hammer. Now, surviving the incident was their 16-year-old daughter named Janice. As you saw from the beginning, Janice was close to her sibling, often seen having fun, dancing, and laughing with them. So it was understandable that she was distraught. When police asked her what happened, she told them that 3 intruders entered the house. She was lucky enough to escape because she ran to her bedroom, but her other 2 siblings were just not fast enough. Now, Janice had only been taken in by this family 5 months earlier. She had formed a close friendship with Gwen and begged her parents to take Janice in. She told her parents that Janice was an orphan who came from a really tough background. And despite the family having limited resources, they agreed. And Janice joined the family. She was welcomed in and all seemed well on the surface. Now, this attack completely devastated the family. As investigators looked into the case, they noticed something very troubling. Nothing in the family home had been stolen, and the weapons used against the 2 victims were actually owned by the family. In fact, the baseball bat had been stored in Janice's room, which means the thieves would have had to have entered the room. Police also found a bag of clothes belonging to Janice at the back of the house. Those clothes were covered in blood, and she had specifically changed before police arrived. It was becoming clear to police what really happened, and Janice was arrested. She ended up confessing. It must be noted that she had the help of 2 other assailants. As they looked into Janice's past, they realized she wasn't even an orphan. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison. So why did Janice do this? She'd been taken in by a warm, loving family after all.
The parents of the two victims believed Janice wanted to be their only child. She had done this out of jealousy. She wanted to be the only one who got their love and affection. My name's Harves, and I talk about true crime cases. If you want to hear more content like this, I suggest you follow.
911, where's your emergency?
I just killed someone. 100, Route 46.
What do you mean you just killed someone?
Exactly what I said. I'm armed and dangerous.
Where are you?
You know what? I'm armed, I'm dangerous, send the cops out. I'm in a parking lot. I can see from every angle. I will shoot at anyone who approaches the car.
Okay. How many people did you hurt?
You know, I'm not in a condition to talk.
Okay, can you at least tell me what city you're in so I can send the police out there?
Mountain Lake.
You're in Mountain Lakes?
Yeah.
How many people did you kill? Just one person?
Just one person.
Just one person?
I'm reloading right now. I'm going to shoot at anybody that approaches the car.
Okay, that's not a problem, sir. I'd advise you not to reload and do that, but... What's your name? You just hung up on me.
911, what's the location of the emergency?
Please help me!
Yes, what address do you need help?
I'm not on an address, I'm on the road, on Myers Road! He's trying to kill me!
Which road are you on?
Myers Road in Oregon City!
Okay, do you have an address? Listen.
Be late, come on, get a cop here now!
Okay, who's trying to kill you?
My husband! He's trying to pick up truck!
Okay, what?
He's trying to kill me! Come on! He's trying to die!
And what kind of gun does he have? Ma'am? Ma'am? I've got... Ma'am, take a deep breath so I can understand you. Ma'am? I've already got help coming. I need you to tell me wire and what?
On plan. I'm on plan. Squire.
Just a minute.
I'm walking. He shot me.
Okay, you're on Squire at Glenview Court?
He shot me.
Okay, where did he shoot you?
In the chest.
In the chest?
He's over there.
She's an adorable child. Goes home every night to hell.
It's a building that's next to a morgue and a methadone clinic. There's not much else around there. It's a terrible place to live. Absolutely.
Until she becomes literally swallowed up by the darkness.
I felt sick to my stomach because you know nothing good can come of a scenario like that.
It's a question that echoes across the airwaves.
He's seen going into a hotel room with the child. I hope she's alive.
Where is Relisha Ruff, and who took her?
Relisha is seen going into the door. Is there video of her coming out?
Relisha is a charming 8-year-old with a life as hard as it comes. She lives in a homeless shelter in Washington, D.C. with her mother and 3 younger brothers. But her mother, Shamika Young, says the little girl can brighten up a room, even under the worst circumstances.
He has been sexually abusing his 12-year-old stepdaughter for 4 years.
He's the true predator. There's no telling how many victims are out there.
You know, once I get into the video call and, you know, I start talking like Abby and he's calling me Abby and, you know, saying all these things to me, it like really hit me that he's talking to a 12-year-old girl.
You're absorbing the impact that an actual 12-year-old girl would have.
I can't even think about what it would be like for him to get away.
Take him down now. Dawson, light him up.
Get out of the vehicle! Hurry up! Get out of the vehicle!
He's running. There's a vehicle in front of him.
He's going through. That's him.
.45 caliber handgun with 3 magazines. He was armed to the hill. And she told you she was how old?
12. Twice out of town, I was still having 6 fun.
People are committing these crimes, traumatizing children.
Well, your husband showed up tonight to pick up a 12-year-old girl that he's been communicating with on social media apps.
Wait, what?
It's dangerous in the dark, but come hell or high water, we have to get him. Let me out, you wheel around. I think it's him.
Show me your hands, you now! You're not filming this very during a us.
This video may look like a group of friends just going out to get takeout. But trust me when I say something much more disturbing is at play. This is the devastating case of Mary Collins, a 20-year-old girl who disappeared in the early days of the COVID lockdowns. Now, due to COVID, her case didn't really get the media attention it deserves. But I do warn you, the brutality of what happened to her is shocking. On the 28th of March 2020, Mary headed out the door and got into an Uber to head to a friend's house. Her friend's name was Levi Pham, this guy, and he was a high school friend of hers and a former boyfriend. Mary was also going to meet his now girlfriend, Kelly Lavery, this girl. Now, Mary was special needs and she actually had a syndrome that impaired her ability to move around, but she was lonely. And so when Lavi and Kelly asked her to go hang out with them, she thought they were just being friendly. Now, it's important to note that when she got there was another guy present. This guy, James Solano. Now, all of them sort of went out to go get sushi, and that was the video you saw posted by Levy. You can see them walking into his apartment. You can see them all walking to the apartment, but sadly Mary would never walk out. Now, Mary's family knew she'd gone out to meet some friends. They were immediately concerned when they did not hear from her. They sent her multiple messages and called her a few times. And because of her special needs, they were concerned. Now, Mary actually lived with her grandmother, Mia Alderman. And when Mary didn't come home, Mia went straight to Levy's apartment and banged on his door. Now, the couple, Kelly and Levy, they opened the door and told Mia that Mary had left after they had all eaten sushi. But that did not make sense to Mia. She knew that Mary would have needed help getting home. So Mia went straight to the police and filed a missing person report. Now, due to the circumstances around the case, the missing persons unit were quite slow to respond. But Mia knew that Mary was still in that apartment, and so she continued to turn up at Levy's door. At one stage, the couple even let her in to let her search the apartment, but they did not let her go into the back rooms. All they let her do was do a quick scan. But Mia was simply convinced. It got so bad that the missing person unit actually told Mia that she had to stop harassing Levy and Kelly, that they were doing their own investigation. After some time, the case finally gets the break it so desperately needed. Uploading part 2 now.
Some creepy shit you will see on a Ring camera. I'm so glad I have mine.
He trusted his gut and it saved his life. In the early 1970s, a college student was trying to make his way home by hitchhiking. A car pulls up beside him and the driver offers him a ride. As soon as they started moving, he felt a sense of unease, like something was off. Despite his gut feeling, he stayed silent and waited for the next opportunity to act. Finally, when the car slowed down, he opened the door and ran away. 2 years later, the same student was watching TV when he stumbled upon a special interview with a death row inmate. There in the audio recording, the interviewer asked the inmate, "Why did you remove the door handles inside your car?" The inmate responded, "The first time I tried to kill someone, I picked up a college hitchhiker who got smart at some point and jumped out of my car." So, lesson learned. As soon as the student saw the inmate's picture, he realized that he was supposed to be the first victim of John Wayne Gacy. This is why you should never travel alone. In 2005, a young woman embarks on a solo road trip across country. She came across the mountaintop motel. As she checked in, the clerk gave her an uncomfortable look and asked if she was traveling alone. Dismissing the question, she paid for her room and then took the key. But upon entering, she discovered something that nobody wants to ever see in their motel. There was cockroaches infesting her bed and crawling all over all the walls. Determined not to stay, she opted to sleep in her car in the motel parking lot. Well, around 3 a.m. she wakes up to witness the clerk using his own key to enter her room. Speeding off, she phones a friend requesting the Mountaintop Motel's address for the police. However, her friend hesitated before revealing that the motel had closed over a week ago. Is this famous Beatles member an imposter? Long ago, when the Sgt. Pepper album was released, people noticed that something was different about Paul's ears. They say that the real Paul died in a car crash and was replaced by an imposter. The Beatles were so afraid that their fans would be so heartbroken if they found out that they held a look-alike competition and found someone to take the place of Paul. But the guilt of this secret weighed heavily on the Beatles, so they started leaving hints of the tragedy. If you look closely, you can find strange clues in their album covers. The flowers on the Sgt. Pepper album are in the shape of Paul's left-handed bass, and on the Abbey Roads album, take a look at Paul, who is the only one walking barefooted, indicating that he's a corpse. Some fans wonder if this was a sign that the real Paul was no longer with us. Is there an imposter among us? The mystery remains unsolved. Follow, because my next story is crazy. Beware the swamps of Mississippi. You might just meet the witch of Yazoo. In the heart of Yazoo, Mississippi lies a chilling tale. A witch accused and burned at the stakes in the 1800s began a haunting legacy. But death was not the end. She vowed revenge from beyond. As the flames consumed her, she cursed the town. Within 20 years, she promised Yazoo would burn. And true to her words, a fire engulfed the town in 1904. Yet her spirit wasn't quelled. The witch of Yazoo still roams today. Visitors report eerie sightings in the swamp, a spectral figure in the mist, so tread carefully in Yazoo, or you just might encounter the vengeful spirit of the witch herself. He googled his name, and what happens next will make you quit the internet. To his surprise, he stumbled upon a website that had his full name as the domain. Curiosity piqued, he clicked the link and discovered a message board owned by someone with the same name, age, and interest as him. The guy found it strange that both he and the website owner lived in the same city, sharing a rare name. Strangely, the coincidences only grew stronger. The website owner had a dog with the same name as his childhood pet, posted a picture of a car identical to the one he drove in college, and even mentioned his favorite restaurant from a past job. Intrigued, he decided to leave a message on the website, only to realize it was a static page with no interactive features. So he sent an email to the owner expressing his surprise at the shared name. The following day, the website vanished without a trace. His inbox, however, held a single chilling reply. Found you. Beware the nights in Minnesota's Cannot Chase Forest. A place of beauty by day turns sinister as darkness falls. The trees whisper tales of the black-eyed children, their chilling presence setting the story in motion. But these aren't your ordinary lost children seeking help. They appear at your car window, their eyes as black as the night, asking for a ride home. Their voices are hypnotic, their requests seemingly innocent yet deeply unsettling. Yet those who let them in are never seen or heard from again. So if you find yourself in Cadillac Chase after sunset, remember this tale. Drive on, do not stop, for the black-eyed children might be waiting. Will you heed this warning? But what he finds out will haunt you. In 2015, a college student sat alone in his friend's basement trying to get some work done. But as soon as he began, some strange noises echoed through the floorboards above him. It sounded like furniture was being moved. He attempted to shut it out, yet the noises kept getting louder and more unbearable. Unable to concentrate, he picked up his phone to text his friends upstairs. But as he typed out the message, a deep sense of dread washed over him, and his friend's reply was chilling. No one is home. We went to Wisconsin for the weekend. With his heart racing, the student stumbled out of the basement and ran to the nearest window. Peering inside, he saw the darkness of the empty house, with no sign of anyone being there. He had been completely alone the whole time. Beware the lighthouse on Wood Island, Maine. In the 1800s, a lighthouse keeper and his wife lived in isolation on Wood Island. To combat loneliness, a piano was shipped to entertain the wife. But the wife knew only one song, driving to keep her mad. Unable to bear the incessant tune, the keeper snapped, destroying the piano with an axe. In a fit of insanity, he murdered his wife and then himself. Now their spirits are said to emerge on foggy nights, forever restless. Locals claim to hear the wife's long song echoing from the lighthouse. So if you ever visit Wood Island, listen closely. You might just hear a ghostly melody. Never open your door to a child at night, especially if their eyes are pitch black. It's a quiet suburban neighborhood. You're home alone when a knock echoes. Two children stand outside, their eyes as dark as the night itself. But these aren't ordinary children. There's something far more sinister. They ask to come in, their voices monotone. You feel an inexplicable dread. Reports suggest that they bring misfortune, even death, to those who let them in. You're about to close the door when one says, "We won't hurt you." Remember, never let the black-eyed children in. Beware of late-night walks in the woods. You never know what you might step on. In the dead of night, a young couple ventured into the dense forest. An eerie feeling crept over the man, but his girlfriend brushed it off. One evening, they watched an interview with a death row inmate. He recounted a night when a couple unknowingly stumbled upon his freshly committed crime in the woods. Their blood ran cold as the inmate revealed his identity, Ted Bundy. The couple was left haunted, realizing they had walked over a victim's body with a notorious killer lurking nearby. Always remember, the woods at night hide more than just the shadows. Never open your door to a child at night, especially if their eyes are pitch black. It's a quiet suburban neighborhood. You're home alone when a knock echoes. Two children stand outside, their eyes as dark as the night itself. But these aren't ordinary children. There's something far more sinister. They ask to come in, their voices monotone. You feel an inexplicable dread. Reports suggest that they bring misfortune, even death, to those who let them in. You're about to close the door when one says, "We won't hurt you." Remember, never let the black-eyed children in. In 2017, an old woman who lived alone thought she saw something strange in her backyard. She went to the window to take a look. As she looked, she saw a shadowy figure standing outside. Scared, she watched the figure while calling the police, but when she hung up, the figure was gone. The police arrived and found her front door unlocked. They went in and saw her still sitting by the window. They searched the backyard but found nothing. When they checked inside the house, they found big footprints that weren't hers on the first floor. That's when they figured out what happened. The woman wasn't seeing a shadowy figure outside. She was seeing the reflection of someone who was in the room with her.